Hello and welcome everyone officially to the official launch of Thrive in the AI and Digital Age by Dr. Madeleine Wallace. Oh my gosh, I'm so excited. I can't even talk today. Welcome everybody. If you're joining us from Germany, Peru, Colombia, Mexico, the United States, wherever you are from around the world, welcome. We are super excited for an amazing evening today. Dr. Madeleine Wallace. Oh my goodness, this the nerves of the excitement are kicking in. But we are so thrilled for you all to be joining us. We have an incredible program in store with special guests, free giveaways, a thoughtful and insightful conversation, and so much more. Thank you. Hola, bienvenidos a todos los que nos están sintonizando de todo el mundo, de Perú, Colombia, México, Alemania, los Estados Unidos. Bienvenidos a este gran evento el día de hoy. Estamos muy emocionados porque tenemos un programa muy fascinante y especial con la doctora Wallace y estamos con muchas ansias para hablar con ella y disfrutar de este gran evento. Muchas gracias por estar aquí. My name is Gabby Hernandez Branch. I'm COO of Fake Factor Media Publishing, the official publisher of Thrive in the AI and Digital Age. We are so thrilled that this is the second book of Dr. Wallace, and we are so excited for her and this conversation and this evening. So thank you so much, everyone, for being here. This journey could not have been possible with all of the support of you, the readers, the audience. And so thank you so much. Thank you to our event partners, Big Factor Media, Olin Technology, our technology team, and Windrose Vision, the incredible company created by Dr. Madeleine F. Wallace. Thank you so much. Before we begin, I want to make sure I invite you to comment in the comments where you're joining us from, where are you visiting us from, where are you tuning in. Please tell us your name, where you are, and any questions that you will have for Dr. Wallace, as she will have a wonderful Q&A section at the end. Por favor, escriban sus preguntas, digan dónde nos están sintonizando, si están en cualquier lugar del mundo, por favor. Queremos que sea un evento que tenga mucha conexión, mucha actividad y por favor estén aquí atentos al evento. Muchísimas gracias. Bueno, con eso sé que están todos muy ansiosos para hablar con Dr. Madeleine Wallace. I know you all are super anxious, and why you joined us here today is to connect and hear from Dr. Madeleine Wallace. And I want to make sure I give her the proper introduction because she is an accomplished individual that has accomplished incredible things. And I want to be very mindful of the wonderful accomplishments that she has done. Originally from Mollendo, Peru in 1986, she immigrated to the U.S. and she excelled academically and is among a select group of Latinas in the U.S., less than 1% actually, who hold a doctorate degree. With a PhD in sociology, specializing in demography and statistics, Dr. Wallace brings over 25 years of expertise across corporate America, federal government, and consulting. She served in the federal government as Director of Office of Evaluation and Performance at the National Institutes of Health, a global leader in public funding for biomedical and behavioral research. She is also the founder of Windrose Vision, a consulting firm that helps businesses and organizations manage projects that improve operations and leverage data to achieve their goals. Dr. Wallace is highly sought after conference speaker and trainer. Her insights on the future of work and predictions of 2025 and beyond have been featured in publications such as CEO World Magazine, HR Brew, Authority Magazine, and so many others. She also graduated from the University of Tennessee and is a prestigious alumna of the Latino Business Action Network Scaling Program at Stanford University Graduate School of Business, the Executive Leadership Program at John F. Kennedy School of Government at Harvard University. Y también quiero decir tantitas palabras en español para que todos conozcan de la gran carrera que ha hecho Dr. Madeleine Wallace. La doctora Wallace nació en Mollendo, Perú, y luego emigró a los Estados Unidos para estudiar. Su doctorado es en sociología con concentración en demografía y estadísticas. Dr. Wallace es una de las pocas latinas en este país, menos del 1% con un doctorado. Ella tiene más de 25 años de experiencia en el sector empresarial, el gobierno federal y la consultoría, y se destacó como directora de evaluación y rendimiento en los Institutos Nacionales de Salud y fortaleciendo la medición del impacto de sus investigaciones. Ella es fundadora de Windrose Vision, una firma de consultoría que guía a empresas y a organizaciones a optimizar operaciones y aprovechar datos estratégicamente. También es una conferencista reconocida y se graduó de prestigiosos programas de liderazgo en Stanford y de Harvard. Wow, con eso, por favor, ayúdenme a darle la gran bienvenida a la doctora Madeleine F. Wallace. Welcome, Madeleine.
Hi, how are you doing?
I'm great. How are you?
Well, a little bit nervous, but I'm very happy to be here with you guys, with everybody. I want this to be a very interactive session, not formal, but actually very informal so that we can share also experiences. I want to thank a lot of people. Especially I want to thank my sisters, Rosemary and Evelyn. Quiero agradecer a mis hermanas, Rosemary y Eveline. My sisters, they are like gold and silver, very precious to me, different, but at the same time, you know, they have a lot in common, but it's the commonality and also the difference that makes them unique. And of course, I have to give thank you to my husband, Stephen Wallace, who is my cheerleader, always there for me, and especially during the development of this book. I was taking everywhere my laptop, and Stephen was very flexible about that. Even before a dinner or a dance or something, I had my laptop with me, and Stephen was patient, never complained about it. And I was also working in the car, so I really appreciate that. And I want to thank the Fig Factor Media and Conectado, Guillermo, Dr. Pacheco, Michael, everybody from Conectado that always is there for me. And I really appreciate taking the time for being here tonight. You're going to learn more about it when Michael shares his experience.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Madeleine. What a great way to kick off the event with gratitude. I think you're a wonderful person that has a great heart, and you haven't gotten where you have alone. You have a wonderful people that have supported you. So what really beautiful, Madeleine. And I know that we have an incredible program in store, and I'm excited to dive in. Before, as we kick off this event, obviously people are tuning in, and like you said, we want it to be interactive. So make sure you're, sharing comments. Madeleine will definitely have a chance to check them out and see your comments that you're sharing of accomplishment, of congratulations, and questions as well. But as we kick off the conversation, Madeleine, I want to ask, and I'm sure everyone also would love to know, what inspired you to write the second book? This is not your first book. This is your second one now. You have so much knowledge that you just keep going, which I absolutely love. I'm looking forward to your third. But what inspired you to write this book?
This book is very personal to me. It's in tribute to my parents, Osvaldo and Silvia. My parents had a vocational school in Mollendo, Peru, and they had to close the school because they were not able to transform it and integrate with the technology. And that experience had a tremendous impact on me. But at the same time, my parents were mentors. And even though the school was closed, in the weekends, my house became a school. They will have students, young professionals, and they will teach you certain skills to succeed in the workplace, even though it was computers, but they still start teaching them about how to manage people, how to resolve problems. And also they coach professionals. So I want to honor my parents with this book because I learned from them how to share whatever I learned with others. And my two sisters are the same way. We always share My father also wrote booklets and some books, and he wanted to share his knowledge about different techniques for teaching, like how to teach elementary school children and also high school, and then people at university, and how to instill values. So I admire my father, and he passed away in 2023, almost 2 years. And I remember that when I went to Peru in December, it was that I saw many of his former students, and they were telling stories that we didn't know, my sisters and I. And they were sharing about how my father encouraged them to pursue education, to pursue what they want. And for example, we even had a person who recited a poem, and he said that my father, encouraged him to pursue engineering, but also to continue with his passion for poetry. So that to me was beautiful. Um, and I want to be very, very thankful for what my parents did to all the people in the community and all the stories that I learned. So I'm here just to share, and just like an instrument to be like what my parents did for others. And my mom was an avid reader, and was the same. She shared whatever she learned and encouraged everybody to learn. And she will tell the women, you are going to be the next administrator. You are going to be the next boss, la nueva jefa. Mi madre siempre apoyó a las mujeres y les decía que iban a seguir adelante. Y mi papá hizo mucho por sus alumnos. Siempre se dedicó, escribía libros y era para enseñar a, enseñar a los profesores cómo enseñar a los niños, a los que están en la escuela secundaria, y también cómo enseñar a los que están en la universidad. Mi padre fue un gran hombre y dedicado a la comunidad, dedicado a enseñar, y mi madre lo mismo. And also want to thank my mentees. I had the wonderful opportunity to mentor through Conectado, and also through other platforms where I mentor women entrepreneurs. And I really, how will I say this? I get so happy when I see the excitement of anybody that I'm providing some advice, because I learn from them too. And it's a shared experience. It's a two-way street. So I'm very happy about having the opportunity to mentor through Conectado, and also through El BAM, because I've been able to mentor some entrepreneurs, and I always have the opportunity to share experiences and learn from them. And so this book is also for those mentees.
Yes. So wonderful, Madeline. And actually, we have a special surprise because you have some incredible pictures to share with us this evening. How beautiful this testament that you're sharing about your parents. And these are some actual pictures of the school that your parents created. So thank you so much. Let me show, I don't know if you want to share anything else.
Yeah, so you can see there that my mother is standing up. She's the one with the black dress in the back. And then my father is there too. He's standing up. So my mom and dad are there in those pictures. I brought those pictures from Peru in December of last year, or the year before.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Madeline. How special. I'm sure it was obviously a difficult time, but what a beautiful testament of the students coming back and sharing those moments. So how beautiful. You can see that impact that your father created in his, and I'm sure you have created, as you mentioned, in your mentees and the programs you do. So thank you so much, Madeline. I want to ask you the next question, Madeline. Given the rise of AI, why do you think your book is so relevant right now? And what sets it apart, its approach specifically from other career development books? I would love to have some of your insight on that.
Yes. I believe that nowadays, all of us need to learn how to be a lifelong learner. And because technology is changing very fast, and in order for us to continue being relevant and don't become obsolete, is by having a structured approach. So what I did is that I use all my experience assessing the effectiveness of programs, career development programs, and I try to put it in a book. Why? Because I feel that we need a guide, but are also action. Because sometimes we talk too much, but we don't go into action. So my framework, that is the SIM framework, S stands for snapshot, the E is for ambition, the A is for act, and the M is for measure. So what I did was within those four components, I provided different exercises and different activities to help individuals to succeed in this evolving or evolving, I will say, evolving field of AI, because this is just the beginning. So as you can see on this slide, these are the unique parts of the book. I developed 7 career profiles because I believe that people need something to jumpstart their careers. There are so many choices. And people are asking, should I go into tech? Should I stay in this company? Should I change careers? What is my path? So because there are so many choices, I start with 7 career profiles. But in order for you to get into those career profiles, first we need to look at your skills. And based on those skills, then you need to look at the specifically your transfer skills in light of the current trends, the technology trends. And then from there, I walk you through the career profiles, and then I have specific activities. So that way you don't have to think too much about what I'm going to do. You just go ahead and choose your career profile, and then you go to specific activities that you're going to do. So this is just the beginning. After that, we go into what is called the sprints. I believe that all of us need to go ahead and try different things. So my approach is different. As you can show the slide again. Another unique component is that most of the approaches that we have today, they start with, you need to know your career vision, right? Or your goals. But I don't do that. I believe that you need to explore first, and you do it through sprints. This is borrowed from the Agile methodology. You engage in short, like a 2 to 6 weeks activities, and you learn in an structured way. You are exposed, you learn different things, you exposed to what you want to do, and then you decide afterwards if you want to pursue that or not. So it's not that, so you cannot be committed immediately to your career, because we are living in an evolving world. So as I mentioned again, you have the career profiles, then you have the sprints, that is short activities that you're going to do in a period of time. And then we have what is called the scenario planning. The scenario planning is actually a very successful tool that business use in order to anticipate how to address potential challenges. So you're going to hear from my guests, Cynthia and Michael. You're going to hear how they use the career profiles, and also how they use the scenario planning to come up with their own path. Another aspect of the book is that I provide digital templates. I provide the resources to you. And this is an iterative process, meaning that it's not like once you achieve your goal, that's it. No, actually, this is iterative. That means that you're always going to be continuously working on sprints, because technology is going to keep changing. And as I say earlier, we have certain skills that are the soft skills. So this book is not about like everybody needs to go ahead and get into AI. Actually, it is about 10 skills that they were identified by the World Economic Forum, and then like a strategic thinking, analytical thinking. And those you identify what is transferable, and based on what is transferable, then you start building basically your path. And the other key component is that um, we have everything of this is based on real, is evidence based. So I have assessed the effectiveness of programs, and I have surveyed my company, Winrose Vision, have surveys probably, let me see, we were actually counting like 20,000 individuals in different programs. So we have a lot of data. So this is based, this way how we walk individuals to figure out what they want is based on actual evidence of what works and on the experiences of different people. So remember, I don't start with a career with like, oh, give me your vision. Actually, I start with, hey, try this and let's see how it goes. So I think I'm providing a lot of information, but don't worry, it's going to become real when you talk to Cynthia and Michael.
Thank you, Madeleine. That is really awesome and very comprehensive what you're sharing. And I love that you talked about kind of the different approaches and how innovative it is that what you're doing. And actually, a slide I want to bring up is the career profiles, because I know we'll have that conversation with the guest. But I want to make sure, I think it's a beautiful slide. And it's also, just like you said, this research that you've developed to really see the profiles and how the skillful seeker, right, the curious explorer, the things that you created. Maybe you can just take maybe 30 seconds to explain this amazing slide and these profiles.
Yes, so when I created the profiles, actually, I never expected that everybody was going to go crazy for them. That's what attract the most. So people, when they see the profiles, even before reading, they say, oh, I am an explorer. Oh, I don't know what I want. So they immediately identify themselves just by looking at the picture. So in the book, you're going to see the profiles. You're going to see like what are the skills for a specific profile. Also, what do they think about the vision? Because each profile has a vision. And then you select based on those characteristics. But the good news is this, before that, I'm going to ask you in the book to tell me what you actually do. So that's the trick. You may think, oh my God, of course, I'm an innovator, right? I know everything. But actually, your actions say exactly who you are. So before these profiles, I ask you what you're doing, how you spend your time. And then you reflect. And then you decide what you are. Because a lot of people think that they already know it all, or maybe they feel that they are not ready for this new world, when in reality they are, because they are already spending time on certain areas. So all I'm trying to tell you is that before you get into the profiles, you're going to learn about yourself in terms of your skills, and then you're going to learn of how you are spending your time, because how you spend your time is actually what determines your success. And this is how you become a lifelong learner.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Madeleine. That was great insight. And I know personally I'm very visual, so I feel like seeing you explain it, and then also obviously seeing the really beautiful icons is very appealing. So I'm sure anyone reading the book will definitely enjoy that. Wow, thank you so much, Madeleine. I feel like time is flying because we were having a great conversation. You have so much insight to share of your book. So I'm very excited for this next part of the program because, as you mentioned, Madeleine, we have some incredible, remarkable guests joining us today. I'm very thrilled to have these guests join us today because they both embody the spirit of lifelong learning, as you mentioned earlier. This adaptability in the AI area, and of course, the power of mentorship and how really that can be so impactful in someone's career. And there are also themes in the books, which is really fitting. So in having said that, I'm very excited to welcome our first guest that we'll hear from today, and that is Dr. Cynthia Phillips. Dr. Cynthia is the founder of Decision Catalyst LLC and is a nationally recognized expert in measurement and evaluation. With a strong scientific background in molecular biology, Dr. Phillips has brought her expertise to the field of government evaluation, where she led the Evaluation Assistance Capability Unit at the National Science Foundation, among many amazing other accomplishments as well. So, with that, please help me welcome Dr. Cynthia. Hi, Dr. Cynthia. How are you?
Oh, I'm wonderful. Thank you, Gabby and Madeline. I really appreciate the opportunity to be here tonight.
Yes, thank you so much. I'll give you a moment to chat with Madeline, but before that, please tell us, Dr. Phillips, how you know Madeline and what can you share with this experience that you have both worked together in the past?
Oh, it's just such a delight, and I'd take up all the rest of the time if I told you everything. But the highlight is it was back in 2016, when I was at the pinnacle of my evaluation career, where I was running a unit doing evaluation at a government agency at the National Science Foundation. And I was looking to find different ways of evaluating how the government invests in science. And that, for those who don't know, it's a very tricky thing because when you're doing research, you don't know what the outcome's going to be. It's not like you train a kid and they're going to be able to ride a bike. Well, let's say you want to build a different bike. And it's this milieu of scientific research where Madeline really, really shines. And I gravitated to her way of thinking almost immediately. That I was looking for companies and I was looking through these catalogs that the government provides, and they're all boring, 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 boring with graphs and tables and, say, I could do these analyses. And I'm like, I don't want analyses. I want somebody who's curious. I want somebody who can think outside the box. And then when I was about ready to tear what little hair I have out, I saw this one company, Windrose Vision, that had the concept of a compass on their website, not data, and had a navigation theme. And this just, it made my heart sing. I've got to be honest. It spoke volumes to me about what mattered to Madeline in the company, that the face that she's putting forward. And it's in her books too. It is this direction, the intentionality, the purpose, the strategy, plus the curiosity is what makes any data skill useful. And if you don't have those things, your data skills aren't going to help you all that much when you've got wicked problems. So she and her team used machine learning back in 2016, when most folks in the government were just using machine learning to identify categories. Very simple, like playing pickup sticks. Is it this color? But what Madeline did was she flipped this on its head in a way that's very much like generative AI is today, having conversations with the machine in 2016. This is like almost a decade ago, and saying, if I tell you these things about the context, can you find in this document an example of something that sounds like this? And that is way different than categorization. So she was radical and highly innovative from the moment that I met her. And you can see it when you watch her on the screen, that she is just so vibrant and entrepreneurial. It's infectious.
Thank you so much, Dr. Cynthia. I appreciate you saying that. I think that anyone who knows Madeline knows that she is very ambitious, radical, an incredible person that just has such great insight to share and with such power as well. So thank you so much for sharing. For this next second question, I would love also if Madeline too, if you feel free to jump in or have a moment for between you. I know we talked about the profiles and some of the books that you a little bit more of the insight with Madeline and yourself, but the book features several exercises, and we've understand that you worked through some of them. Can you just share briefly your experience with the audience, perhaps, in some of that?
Well, I'm a visual learner, and the book itself is just visually stunning. It is so appetizing. You just want to dive in. But what I liked the best was those icons, like what you talked about, because, I'm at the end of my career. I should know what I want to do when I grow up. I'm done. But when I saw the icon for the chameleon, it was like, oh, I don't have to stay what I am. I could change. And that made all the difference for me. The thought that I'm not stuck at the end of my career going, what the heck? It's like, no, there's this vista in front of me. And her exercises, the first one, the inventory, was like, I got a ton of skills. But I've been hoarding them my whole life, to make me the smartest woman in the room. And then I meet people like Michael and other folks that have worked and been mentored by Madeleine. And it's like, I can change and switch the flow from into me to out of me. And what the chameleon told me was, when I looked at the sprint exercises, is that I can try things. I don't have to be right. I am a scientist after all. And I love the scientific method angle to it. That if I knew what was going to work, I wouldn't need to do research, would I? And so these sprints are just delightful. And I can't wait to try some of the ones for the chameleon. I am not stuck. And there's a word that she used that I think I'm going to put on a t-shirt, and it's inertia. And that word is the polar opposite of my company, Decision Catalyst. But I have been feeling stuck. I've been paralyzed by inertia. And this chameleon is my new meme. I can change, and I will, thanks to Madeleine and her great book.
Thank you. Madeleine, any words for Dr. Cynthia?
Oh my God, I am. Thank you very much, Cynthia. I have learned so much from you, and I enjoy every conversation that we have. And when we start talking about my book, and then you told me that you like it, I was like a little girl jumping around and saying, "Oh my God, she liked it. She liked it." I guess it was, I forgot who was this movie star, Sally Field, right? That when she goes
Yes.
to say, "They like me," right? So that's how I felt. I like working with you because you also challenge me, and I appreciate that. this is the this is the perfect moment for everybody, because all along we have been complaining that, oh, I don't like my job, I don't like this, I don't like that. And I think nowadays we can control our career by looking at our skills and finding opportunities. And as you say, that the inertia, no, we need to go ahead and move and do something. And the book is about action.
Mhm.
Thank you, Cynthia, very much. Thank you.
My pleasure.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Dr. Cynthia and Madeleine, for that great insight. And now I want to introduce our second guest. As Cynthia already mentioned, him and Madeleine as well. This is Michael Diaz Jimenez. He is a product manager at Conectado Inc. Michael plays a key role at this innovative company, which provides cutting-edge education through immersive virtual experiences and advanced technology. And this is extra special for Michael to join us today because I don't know if you all know, but January is actually the National Mentoring Month. So this makes it a perfect time to celebrate Michael's story and other stories of connection and growth. So with that, please help me welcome Michael. Hi, Michael. How are you doing today?
Hi, everyone. I'm doing great. And thank you, Dr. Wallace, for having me join your virtual book launch. I'm not sure if you all know, but Dr. Wallace has actually been my personal mentor for almost 2 years now. And I'm excited to share a little more about how we first got connected.
Yes, thank you, Michael. Please share a little bit more about your experiences and being connected with Madeleine. I'm sure she's an incredible mentor.
Yeah, so it's really a pleasure to represent Conectado, the company I work for here, as Dr. Wallace is one of our what we like to call Conectado champions. And so essentially, for context, Conectado is a education technology company where we partner with different organizations and universities to provide holistic boot camps that ensure the future workforce is well prepared and positioned to take advantage of new careers in technology and STEM. And so essentially, we provide that holistic bootcamp experience. And what that means is we provide technical skill development, career readiness curriculum. We provide mentorships and financial literacy skills as well. And Dr. Wallace has actually been a mentor for every one of our boot camps since I can remember. And a few examples of our previous boot camps is our most recent one that we concluded, which was the AI Literacy Boot Camp, in which we partnered with the Mark Cuban Foundation. And so as a product manager, I helped to coordinate that logistically and then also work on some internal facing products for our team to increase our scale. But in terms of my connection to Dr. Wallace is I actually was her mentee at the first ever boot camp that we launched at Conectado, which was in the summer of 2023. And so going back in time, at that point, I was a recent graduate from UC Berkeley, where I studied sociology. And I think it was a perfect mentoring pair, not because we both study sociology, but at that point, I was also at a transitional period in my career, so um, graduating with a sociology degree, I realized that I really wanted to break into tech. And Dr. Wallace understood really that there's all these different career types. Just because you graduated in this field doesn't mean that you are limited to staying in that field. There's ways of, completing your exploratory sprints, taking those courses online, upskilling to get to the position that you want to be in your career. And at that point, I really appreciated her mentorship advice as someone who is still trying to figure out their path and how to, reach those necessary steps to get to the current role that I'm at now as product manager. I took those courses, I got that certificate from my BM product manager. And that was all a testament to Dr. Wallace's mentorship. And I'm so happy to share that we are still meeting regularly after almost 2 years when I first initially met her. And it's been a joy, and I'm just so happy to be here for her new launch.
Thank you so much, Michael, for sharing a little bit of that background with you and your mentorship relationship with Dr. Wallace. That is really wonderful because I think that sometimes we don't know what we don't know, and we need champions like Dr. Wallace that can pour into next generations like yourself and other leaders aspiring into their growth and position. So thank you so much for sharing that. Similar to what I asked Dr. Phillips, I know you've also had a chance to explore a little bit more about the book. Can you share maybe a little insight on your perspective and how you approach her book and some of the exercises that are inside as well?
Yeah, definitely. So with Dr. Wallace's new book, Thrive in the AI and Digital Age, it's very unique. It's a very unique career strategy workbook because it understands that it's not a one-size-fits-all career trajectory for everyone. And it's a very personal workbook where you can complete the exercises and tailor it to your story, right? The position that you want to achieve in the next few years. And these exercises really focus on setting you up to be in that position. And so I had a chance to work on a few of the exercises that focused on scenario planning. And these exercises are very practical, right? They're really insightful, and it really allows you to outline your career as you envision it. And so I had a chance to specifically look at the best scenario planning exercise. For that, I had a chance to do a few earlier exercises that allowed me to reflect on some of the external factors that may impact my career, also some personal circumstances that might impact my career. And so, for example, as an external factor, I looked at technological changes, right? And for my personal circumstances, I looked at work-life balance. Now, in this exercise, to understand the best case scenario in my career, I took one of each of those factors that would have the least impact on my career. And so what I did was I selected technological changes as my external factor, and I ranked this one as low impact to my career because I'm constantly upskilling. You know, it's what's gotten me to my current position, and I'm going to be continuing to upskill, whether that's, you know, getting new certificates or going back to school and getting an MBA in the future. I see that as a very low impact to my career. And then for the personal circumstances, I also chose work-life balance because I'm really happy to share that in my current role, I'm really happy with that work-life balance. And I know that if I'm ever in an environment where that's not the case, or if that changes, I know that I can recognize that and advocate for myself. And so putting this all together, the best case scenario allowed me to get a clear insight on how I envision my career. And so what I learned was that I love working with small but fast-paced teams. You know, I love working on developing large-scale projects and projects that have the highest impact on user bases. But to balance that, you know, I love to feel that I have that personal connection with my work, and also that balancing with the reward and challenges of the job, having some sort of flexible work-life balance setup. For example, like a hybrid work setup. And so at the end of it, um, you put together a few sentences, right? That envision your best case scenario. If everything goes well, everything goes right. And so what I wrote down was I see myself as a senior product management position, and then relocating to Los Angeles with a hybrid work setup, creating high impact products with a small and fast paced team. And so what this really allowed me to do is a lot of times we kind of have it in our heads, right? Oh, I want to do this or I want to do that. I'll do that in like 6 months. And it's not necessarily as practical, or it's not like, you know, you write them down or you actually have a priority list. And so that's what I really value about this book, is being able to bring on all those ideas and have these exercises tailored to you, and at the end of it have a real tangible roadmap for the next steps ahead. And you know, it doesn't have to be like, oh, I want to be CEO in 20 years. No, it's like not what's at the end of the tunnel. What's the next step look like? And then the next step after that. And so I found this book really, really rewarding for me. I'm definitely going to be using it. And it's just an extension of the mentorship that Dr. Wallace has provided to me within the past almost 2 years. So yeah.
Wonderful. Thank you so much for sharing. I love how insightful you were on truly the application that you've applied from the things you've taken from this book. And of course, Dr. Wallace's mentorship. So thank you so much, Michael, for sharing. I want to make sure, yeah, thank you. And good luck to your future. I feel like you have a bright future ahead. And with a mentor like Dr. Wallace, you are good.
Thank you so much. Appreciate
Yes.
it.
Thank you so much, Michael. Well, that was really wonderful. I want to make sure, Madeleine, I go back to you. And obviously, we heard from your incredible guests. I just want to give you the mic to share any words that you have from these incredible guests that you had. And I love how they were in such different parts of their careers as well in their journeys. So it's so beautiful to see how impactful your book can be from those just, you know, starting from those that are more seasoned, and just the beauty of that. So, Madeleine, your thoughts?
Yes, I want to thank Michael, because when I started working on the book, I had the book has a case study, but I wanted to make it very relatable. So I remember in one of our sessions with Michael, I showed him a little parts of the book, and he was so excited. And that was what I would call it my pilot testing. And Michael said, yes, I like the case study. I can relate to it. And it was about technology. So that made me realize, yes, I have to really be a person that whatever exercise has a specific intention and is supposed to be an activity and something that people can relate to it. And so I'm very excited. I learned a lot from Michael. And I think what I like about Michael is that he has learned early on um, how to get satisfaction from his job. It's very difficult and it's very challenging. And I like nowadays that, with hybrid environments at work and now with technology, we have the tools and the resources to make our life at work better, but it depends on us how we use those tools. And this is why I think the book is going to help people use the sprint to find those things that brings you joy, but at the same time, that has an impact. What I like about Cynthia is that when we talk about this, she immediately said, oh, I want to go ahead and share my knowledge. And that's the impact that she wants to have. And Michael, he immediately is like, I want to help others. So I thought, wow. But it wasn't that I asked him, what is the impact that you want? It was because of the exercises that they did, that they were able to find what Guillermo Diaz said, the why. And I think it's very important. Sometimes we ask people, what do you like? What you don't like? But no, it's through action that you learn what to do, what you like, what your passion. It's not about just by reading, it's by actually doing.
Wonderful. Thank you, Madeleine. Thank you so much for that insight. And once again, thank you to our guests for joining us today and really being a testament to this, the impact that this book can create. But again, as I mentioned, time is flying because we're having a great time. It has been very powerful conversation, really great insight for anyone in their careers. Really, AI and the digital age is here. So really seeing the impact of your book, Madeleine, is really wonderful. I want to make sure that we do go to a Q&A section. I know we have some guests tuning in. So if you have a question for Madeleine, please make sure you put it in the comments. We'll be happy to answer it. And we actually did have one, Madeleine, that I'm going to jump in. I know I saw here from Jane. She says, as a person later in my career, do you have any advice to streamline career building? That's a question that she has. I wonder what your thoughts are to that.
Yeah, also I have based on what Cynthia said about the inertia, like we actually need to get out of that and do something. So my advice is to have a structured sprint. So basically, it's no right or wrong. Select 2 sprints to do, which means 2 specific activities, take a course or do something completely different. Like, for example, the other day, right now is very popular. You go to these places, so you drink wine and you do painting. That's good because it's something completely different than what I actually do, right? And then, but do it a structure. What does it mean with a structure? A structure means that I say from this day to this day, and then why am I doing it? I had different questions I will say to motivate the thinking process, the logic process, and like why am I doing this, and then afterwards reflect on it, and I think by building on those 2 sprints, I think that's how you build your career and you decide what to do next. So it's not like it used to be in the past that it was actually, right? Remember, a straight line. It's not anymore like that. And the only way for us to see what we like, what we don't like, is by actually doing. So I'm gonna share something personal. I don't like programming, but I know how to program. So but I keep taking courses about AI, and I want to learn a lot of things, but it doesn't mean that I'm going to become a programmer. There are people that can do that with their eyes closed. All I want is to be able to provide this context that many times we lose with numbers or with technology. So, but in order for me to provide an informed comment, I really have to understand. And I think that's where we miss the point. Like, we express an opinion, but it's just an opinion. It's not based on data. It's not based on experience. So I'm a strong believer that you do need to try it, and that you need to go ahead and experiment. And that's how you learn and you build your body of knowledge, and then you share to others.
Wonderful. Thank you. Thank you so much for that insight, Madeleine. I appreciate you taking that question that happened to join. So if there's any more, please make sure to tune in your question for Madeleine. But I do have one for you, Madeleine. Obviously, your expertise in the future of work and also just in digital media. You've been published in various entities like CEO World Magazine, Authority Magazine, HR Brew, the Career Guide Workbook, for example. And in your book, I know you talk about proven approach to upskilling and reskilling. And I know, as kind of we had some commentary of the guests, how can also entrepreneurs and perhaps HR managers use this framework to foster not only individually their own growth, but also enhance a team and organizational success when it's not just them, but it's also others? How can kind of that approach be taken?
Yes, this is something very interesting, because when I started talking about my book, and especially in November, December, now January, it seems that the HR, a lot of people in HR, they have become very interested in the book and in the content, because the same framework is applicable for upskilling and reskilling, and provides a flexible and adaptable framework, so that the entrepreneurs or people who are in HR positions, they can implement. So the CEO, that magazine, sorry, I forgot their name now. And actually, I provide a detailed, I outline all the components and how to implement a program of upskilling and reskilling for a company. So that has become a very popular article. So in the same framework, for the snapshot, companies can go ahead and identify the skills that their employees need. And it helps then the employees to identify what is their profile based on their skills. And then when you go to the second step of the same framework, that is the envision, in the envision, then the organization can go ahead and use that information to develop specific sprints for the employees, where the employees can have a time to test and experiment what they have learned, or learn new skills. And then they can link those skills that they're learning to the bottom line of the company, to how it relates to the return on investment, how it relates to productivity, how it relates to efficiency. So basically, we're linking the individual with the organizational goals. And it is a very systematic approach. And then after you do, then you use your best, worst, and balance scenarios, because you can say, if our workforce is going to be reskilled on this will be the best case scenario. But what happens if we go into the balance scenario, that what do they need so they can practice? So then in the act is when you actually implement, and remember that everything is based on little sprints. That's basically my approach is. But you do it organized and systematic. You try, you iterate, you go, try and test it. So that's what companies need to do, find opportunities for the employees to actually do it, right, and implement. And then I use what is called the KPIs, the key performance indicators, as opposed to milestones, because those are adaptable and they change. And by doing that, like, why do I prefer the KPIs? And I believe this is a question. Why do I prefer KPIs as opposed to SMART goals? In the KPIs, you actually, in real time, you can change them based on the data, because I want it to be something active. And it's going to be very simple. If you want to increase your knowledge about the emerging trends of AI into your work, right? And you want to take a class or whatever, and let's say that there's these webinars, and it consists of 10 webinars. So then you need to go ahead and, something very simple. You go ahead and say, okay, we're 10 webinars, but I also attended 8. So my point is that even to that, then something happens. So does it mean that you fail? No, you didn't fail. So my point is that you have to have a system in which you adapt and change based on the circumstances. And the KPIs allow us to do that, as opposed to, I feel that the SMART goals that are just fixed. And then if you want to change them, then I feel that you are not in control. But with the KPIs, you say, well, okay, I don't want to do webinars. I want to go ahead and take a class and do this. So that's how I feel. And in my book, actually, I have a very detailed explanation. So I'm going to let you wonder so you can go and dig more into the book. So yes, so I believe that the SIM framework, in measure, that I mean, right? So measure is very important, because many times we don't know the progress that we made because we do not have a baseline, or we do not have a clear target. So actually, chapters 3 and 4, the chapter about act and the chapter about measure, it teaches you how to do basically a business plan and how to do your budget in a way. And by learning that skill, then it is something that you can apply wherever you go. And especially if you want to be a manager, you need to be able to track your performance. I'm very into performance. I guess Cynthia knows that, right? And I believe that you can measure anything, qualitative or quantitative. So the book focuses on those areas. It tells you, okay, maybe it's not just the number of webinars that you attended, but also what was the quality of those webinars that you attended. So you also have to rate that part that is qualitative. Maybe you attended, but you were not paying attention. So the quality is poor. So that's another component. So you need to look at your career from different angles. And that's what I try to do with this book. And I learned that when I was in graduate school. And I know that now 7:57, we need to keep moving. So go ahead.
No, thank you so much, Madeleine. And I know we'll have a special announcement later, but I mean, you're so full of knowledge, and I think that truly, anyone watching, I think it's you need to get the book. I actually have the book right here, which is super great. Such an insightful book, really great exercises, and just as you're saying, Madeleine, of that explanation why even KPIs are better, they're more active. Make sure you get the book because there it's explained there, and so much more is happening in there. So thank you so much. Yes, time is going because we're having a great time. We're really showcasing so much of your knowledge and in this book, Madeleine. So I'm excited to share the next part of our program because Madeleine so gracefully decided to have a special surprise, some free giveaways to some people who registered to the event. So if you registered, thank you so much for being a great supporter. Really, how authors get their book across is champions like you, those tuning in and getting their books out. So I want to make sure we announce some special winners who are going to get a free book of Madeleine so that you can make sure to share it with others. So thank you to Alejandro Romero for registering. You are a winner, and Kathleen Buchanan, Tracy Busekin, and Julia Shaw. Huge congratulations to you for thrilled that you're getting a copy of this book. And if you happen to have already purchased one, perfect, because now you have one that you can give away to a mentee of yours or someone that you know close that can definitely benefit from the information. So thank you so much. We'll contact you separately to connect with you to make sure we ship that book out to you. But yeah, Madeleine, I mean, time flew. Thank you so much for your insights. I know for those who are interested in more, I want to pass the mic back to you to really give us any closing thoughts. And you have, I know, a special resource as well that you'd love to share with the audience before we complete. But thank you so much for everyone, for the guests, the evening, the questions submitted. It's been a wonderful time. So Madeleine, some closing words that you will have for us today.
Yes, I want to again thank you for being here today. It means a lot to me that you're thinking about becoming a lifelong learner and to embrace technology, embrace a career path that actually works for you. And I want to provide an excerpt of the book so you can go to my website and download something that I have prepared for all the attendees. And I think you are going to enjoy it, and it's going to motivate you for you to continue growing your career. Remember, we don't have to know everything. We just need to act.
Thank you, Madeleine, so much. So make sure you go to Madeleine's website, madeleinewallace.com. There you can insert your email, and you will be able to get a wonderful resource with there on the website. Here's also the connections with Dr. Madeleine Wallace, all of her connections. You can connect with her, of course, on Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, of course, her website, and you can definitely shoot her an email as well. And the book, of course, is also now available on Amazon in all the versions you could think of, whatever you feel the most comfortable to ensure you read, hardcover, paperback, digital as well. So please make sure you get your copy. We had such a wonderful time again with this author interview with the guests and everything. And Madeleine, you looked absolutely stunning tonight. You could see your glow because you have so much knowledge to share with everyone. So thank you so much, Madeleine. And here is again the website. Beautiful website too, by the way, Madeleine. It's so on brand with you. You're always so put together and fashionable. I love it. So please make sure you connect with her. It's going to be really such an insight, and use it as a tool. Madeleine is such a wonderful resource for you, your career, anyone in your network. Make sure you connect with her on LinkedIn as well. I know she's very active and so forth. But Madeleine, thank you so much for joining us and being part of this wonderful event. Your event, you did it. Congratulations on your second book. You know, sometimes people always have the idea of writing a book, and now you're wrote two, so we're looking forward to your third. Any future plans? I know we're closing up, but I just want to give you the final word. Thank you, and any final words, and what's next maybe for you, if you don't mind me sharing. I know I'm putting you on the spot.
I just well, I want to be able to give workshops about the SIM framework, help individuals as well as organizations. As I say, it is an evidence-based approach. So I look forward to hearing from all of you. And again, thank you for taking the time to share my happiness. And thank you to my sisters. Thank you to all the people from Peru who took the time to celebrate with me this new book. Thank you to Conectado. Thank you to Cynthia and to many others that I may not contact them frequently, but I know they are there for me. So thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Madeleine. I appreciate your words, and thank you once again, everyone, for joining us, for tuning in. We thank you. We appreciate your presence with us, and make sure you buy the book, connect with Madeleine, and we will catch you next time. Thank you so much. Have a wonderful rest of your evening.
Thank you.
Thank you.